As we discovered last session, it all began in Genesis 1:26 and 27. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Made in his image means that man reflects God's nature in unique ways, through our abilities to reason, create, love, and relate. It speaks to our dignity, purpose, and capacity for relationship with God and others. Last session we found that being pertains to identity, presence, and essence. It is rooted in existence, presence, and relationship. We also found that doing pertains to action, performance, and productivity. It is rooted in tasks and roles and external validation. It emphasizes achievement, responsibility, and function. In this session, we will build upon our being by exploring our essence. As usual, we need to understand the answer to a simple question. What is essence? Essence is the set of necessary attributes that make something what it is fundamentally, without which it would cease to be that thing. Essence, coming from the Latin word essentia, then translated into Greek as ousia, refers to the intrinsic nature or the indispensable quality of something. It's what gives an entity its identity. In a spiritual context, essence refers to the true, unchanging core of a person or being, often described as the soul, the spirit, or the divine spark that transcends physical form and ego. It is the deepest layer of identity, aligned with authenticity, presence, and connection to God. Essence is the real part of who you are, the part that remains constant regardless of external changes, roles, or appearances. It's often described as your soul, your spirit, your inner being, the divine imprint that reflects your unique identity and purpose. Essence is linked to authenticity, living from your deepest truths rather than from masks or conditioned behaviors. When someone sees your essence, they're perceiving your spiritual core, your presence, your integrity, and your vibrancy beyond personality or performance. Many traditions describe essence as a connection to the divine, a spark of God, the breath of life, or the image of the Creator within us. In Christian theology, for example, God's essence is described as love, holiness, justice, and mercy. Humans, being made in God's image, carry echoes of that essence. The spiritual essence of life is what animates existence beyond physical reality. It is the invisible force that gives life meaning, direction, and depth. The essence of God is often described as transcendent, a self-existent being, either as being itself or beyond being, marked by freedom, relationality, and mystery. Don't forget God's name and the identity that He spoke to Moses. He said, I am. God is not one being among many, but the source of all being, beyond categories of existence. God is being Himself, the necessary self-existent foundation of all reality. God exists outside human consciousness and cannot be grasped by human reason alone. Yet God chooses to reveal Himself to man. His primary revelations are through Jesus. God's essence includes dynamic relationship not static perfection, but loving responsiveness and mutuality with creation. God's essence is often revealed through action and relationship rather than abstract definition. The name Yahweh, I am who I am, suggests self-existence, mystery, and presence. God is described as holy, just, merciful, and faithful, attributes that reflect both character and essence, especially in covenantal context. The essence of man is often described as a dynamic interplay of reason, relationality, and existential freedom. Some emphasize communication as being central to human essence. Through dialogue, storytelling, and shared meaning, we become fully human, not in isolation, but in community. This view aligns with theological and poetic traditions that see man as a relational being, echoing the biblical idea of being made in the image of a communicative, relational God. Man is not reduced to one trait or function. We are embodied, thinking, feeling, relating, imagining, and believing beings. This layered understanding invites us to explore not just who am I, but who am I becoming? It's a question of transformation, not just definition. Transformation became important because man's essence was marred by sin. Man's original essence, created in divine image and intended for communion with God, is marred by sin. Sin results in separation from God, distortion of truth, and inward rebellion. Sin does not erase essence, but it does fracture its expression. Humanity was created in the image and likeness of God, reflecting divine attributes like love, reason, creativity, and relationality. This essence was designed for intimacy with God, stewardship of His creation, and harmonious relationship with others. Through Adam's disobedience in Genesis 3, sin disrupted and marred this original design. The consequence wasn't the annihilation of essence, but in the alienation from God, from self, and from others. Sin introduced shame, fear, toil, and death, distorting the clarity, our divine image, and essence, while corrupting the flow of relational trust. Theological traditions affirm that man's essence remains, but it's wounded, obscured, and bent inwards. Instead of reflecting God's glory, humanity often reflects self-centeredness, pride, and broken desire. This is why redemption isn't just forgiveness, it's restoration of essence through Jesus. Jesus, the image of the invisible God, Colossians 1:15. He came to restore what was marred. Through union with Jesus, believers are restored to the image of their Creator, Colossians 3:10, recovering the essence that was fractured. Since Jesus is our example, how did Jesus manifest His essence? Well, Jesus manifested His essence of divine love, truth, and unity with the Father through incarnation, relational presence, sacrificial action, and resurrection. His life was a visible expression of God's essence made tangible in human form. Jesus' essence as the eternal Word was made flesh in the incarnation, John 1:14. This act revealed divine essence in human form as grace, truth, and glory. Jesus' birth wasn't just symbolic. It was the entry of divine being into human history, making God knowable and relatable. Jesus manifested his essence through intimate relationships, walking with disciples, healing the broken, and welcoming the outcast. He revealed his Father's essence not through distant power, but through presence, compassion, and vulnerability. His essence was relational. I and the Father are one, John 10:30. And he who has seen me has seen the Father, John 14:9. We see essence in action on the cross, where Jesus revealed the depth of God's love and justice. His suffering was not weakness, but the manifestation of glory through obedience and mercy. The cross was the epic revelation of his essence, self-giving love that reconciles and redeems. The resurrection was the vindication of his essence, proof that life, not death, defines him. He gave his disciples the glory the Father had given him, John 17:22, sharing his essence with all who follow him. The ongoing manifestation of Jesus' essence continues today through his people. Paul taught that believers are manifestations of Jesus, living letters that reflect his essence to the world, 2 Corinthians 4:1 and 2. The ecclesia becomes a vessel of his essence, sharing truth, love, and presence in daily life and in community. The ongoing consequence of Jesus' essence within man is a transformed life marked by deep intimacy, spiritual authority, and the unfolding of Jesus-like character and mission. It's not just a change in behavior, but it's a new way of being. Our essence is based upon our union with Jesus. When Jesus dwells within, believers are no longer defined by their past or their limitations. They are new, fully restored creations, 2 Corinthians 5:17. This union means that Jesus' essence, his love, his holiness, his wisdom, even his power, is now the believer's source of life. Our essence signifies the transformation of our character. The indwelling of Jesus leads to the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, Galatians 5:22 and 23. This isn't self-improvement. It's Jesus being revealed in you and through you, Galatians 4:19. Reshaping desires, thoughts, and actions from the inside out. Our essence provides spiritual authority and purpose. Jesus' essence empowers believers to live with spiritual authority, to speak truth, to heal, to forgive, and to confront injustice. As his body on earth, the ecclesia becomes a vessel of his ongoing work. As the Father sent me, so I send you. John 20, verse 21. Our essence has intimacy and presence. The consequence isn't just external, it's relational. Believers experience deep communion with God. Colossians 1:27 says, Christ in you, the hope of glory. This presence brings peace, guidance, and a sense of being fully known and loved. Our essence has eternal implications. The essence of Jesus within man is a seal of eternal life, a down payment of future glory. Ephesians 1:13 and 14. It's not just about this life, but about being conformed to His image for eternity. Romans 8:29. Now to some, our exploration of essence may seem like a continuation of exploring being, but they are distinctly separate, yet they are both intimately intertwined. Which of course leads me to a question: how does essence interact with being? Essence interacts with being by defining what or who a thing or person is, while being affirms that it is. Essence gives identity. Being gives existence. Their relationship is foundational. Essence is the whatness, the defining nature or form of a thing or person. Being is the thatness, the actuality or the existence of that thing or person. One without the other is incomplete. Essence without being is merely conceptual, and being without essence is unintelligible. In a theological frame, essence is the image of God, and being is the breath of God. Sin may obscure essence, but being remains. Redemption restores the harmony. Jesus in you reawakens essence and empowers being. There is a dance of essence and being where we discover that I am not merely what I do, nor only what I dream. I am essence, breathed into being, a mystery held in motion. My essence is the whisper of design, the echo of God's intention. My being is the breath of now, the pulse of presence, the yes of existence. Essence names me, being reveals me. Together, they unfold me, not as a static truth, but as a living flame. I am not concept alone, nor action alone, but I am the communion of the two, the blueprint and the breath, the image and the incarnation. Jesus in me is the bridge where essence finds voice and being finds purpose. I am not accidental. I am authored. I am alive. In our essence we find Jesus. I am not merely changed. I am inhabited. The essence of Jesus breathes within me, not as a memory, but as a movement. His love is not a lesson that I recall. It is the pulse in my compassion, the fire in my forgiveness, the stillness in my surrender. I do not strive to become. I unfold. Jesus in me is not a concept, but a current, flowing through my words, shaping my silence, anchoring my presence. I walk not alone, but as one who carries glory, not for display, but for communion. I am a vessel of His essence, truth with tenderness, power with peace, authority with humility. This is not performance. This is participation. This is the mystery of union. He lives, and so I live. Not I, but Jesus in me.